The NFL needs new faces to the league, but there aren't really many faces to do that. However, someone might just have the potential for it. Yep, I'm talking about Jalen Hurts. Hurts might be more valuable to the Philadelphia Eagles as a trade chip than as a quarterback. There are more and more rumors that the Eagles will trade Hurts after next season. This is because the Eagles had 3 first-round picks in the NFL draft in 2022.
Off the fake. Plenty of time. It's the release to Sanders.
People have different ideas about how the team will use that draft capital and whether they should try to get a better quarterback. Could the Eagles trade Hurts for a veteran quarterback like Russell Wilson or Aaron Rodgers, who is at the top of his game? Hurts was picked 53rd overall in the 2020 NFL Draft. He played college football for 2 years at Alabama from 2016 to 2018 before finishing up at Oklahoma. There, he replaced Heisman Trophy winner Kyler Murray and had a Heisman finalist season of his own in 2019.
Second down and 8. This time, Hurts going to keep it. A lot of room inside the 30. Jalen Hurts.
The guy's been making moves for a while. In his first year, Hurts started 4 games for the Eagles when Carson Wentz was hurt. He went 1-3 of those games. Hurts' first year as a full-time starter in 2021 was arguably a success for a sophomore quarterback.
Hurts standing in, throwing inside the 5. It is caught and ridden out of bounds.
He completed 61.7% of his passes, threw and ran for 26 touchdowns, and didn't throw more than 10 interceptions. Okay, cool. Got to admit that that's super impressive. This helped the Eagles finish with an 8-7 record and make it to the NFC wildcard round.
Hurts looking. Got space, got the first down with his legs again.
He was also in charge of 2 game-winning drives and 2 come-from-behind wins in the 2021 season. A little bit of experience from everywhere, huh? And when I talk about experience, there are more than a few inexperienced quarterbacks. There were 13 quarterbacks taken in the 2020 draft. Joe Burrow from the Cincinnati Bengals and Justin Herbert from the Los Angeles Chargers are some of the most well-known names along with Hurts. Hurts, Burrow, and Herbert all had records that were below 50% by the start of last year in the NFL. But even though he was at 48% for a starter, Burrow led the Bengals to first place in the AFC North with a 10-7 record and a spot in last year's Super Bowl 56.
Can set their sights likely on Kansas City. Here we go for the win.
This was just 1 year after a knee injury limited his rookie season to 10 games. The Chargers haven't made the playoffs since Herbert was drafted.
Got a block from Hill. He's got a lead blocker on the way. Chased by the...
Herbert has a record of 47% for the Chargers. Tagovailoa is the only quarterback with a winning record of 61% in his first 2 years in the league.
Oh, what a play! And the Steelers take the lead!
However, the Dolphins have never made the playoffs with Tagovailoa as their quarterback. From what I can tell, the Eagles have done better with Hurts if you compare him to the other quarterbacks that came around the same time.
Minutes to go in the third. Hurts. Downfield. Hits Devontae Smith.
To say that they've done better would be an understatement. Jalen is now an undisputed leader. He's morphed into this humble and killer athlete. Yes, I can't just put those 2 words together, but it's possible in Hurts' case. Hurts may be the NFL player who has improved the most at the most important position.
At their own 47. Good protection again, launch downfield. Watkins wide open, touchdown.
He is confident but not arrogant. That makes his teammates like him more and makes his opponents afraid of him. The perfect combination, right? Just take a look at what the Eagles center Jason Kelce told the Post on Wednesday. He's humble on the outside and in what he says, but he's an effing killer on the inside.
That Cincinnati mayor, know your role and shut your mouth, you jabroni.
The best guys around have confidence, but they're also humble enough to get the respect of their peers. But in their heads, they're killers. That's called mentality. This season, Hurts has been killing it. He has a good chance of being the MVP of the league.
That's been it. So the Eagles in control, up 2 possessions, going to sling it out and get it to Rager now.
And the Giants must beat his right arm and his legs if they want to keep going on their unlikely magical ride through the playoffs. Hurts' college career started at Alabama and ended at Oklahoma after Nick Saban and the Crimson Tide basically gave up on him in favor of Tua Tagovailoa. Oh boy, little did they know. In his 3rd season, Hurts has gone from being a run-first quarterback to one of the game's best dual threats, and his current season speaks a lot for his reputation.
Hurts, it's a deep ball, looking for Devontae Smith, what a catch! It's
inside the 5.
This year has been long coming. Hurts is 14-1 as a starter. He missed 2 games with a shoulder injury that may or may not still be bothering him. He has a 101.5 rating because he has completed 66.5% of his passes for 3,741 yards, 22 touchdowns, and only 6 interceptions. He has also run for 13 touchdowns and 760 yards.
Marker Hurts from the pocket, now moving. Throws in the middle of the field of the catch.
You may have noticed that the numbers above have been getting better and better in every category compared to the previous seasons. He's had great things about him since the first day he came to Philly. One of the reasons he's improved so quickly and reached this high level is that he possesses these intangible skills. Since his father was a coach and his brother is a coach, he has been a leader in football his whole life. The biggest change I've seen this year is the level of comfort and confidence. This comes from having the same coaching staff and players, as well as from having more experience. We both know this. Experience goes a long way. You see a much calmer player. You look at how comfortable and confident he is, and he's on a whole different level on the field. You might wonder, where does all this confidence come from? Well, he's learned to applaud himself. He's had to because there have been times in his career when no one was cheering for him. The criticisms that have been made about him don't even come close to the high standards he has set for himself. When asked if he was worried that the Giants would test him by hurting his sore shoulder, Hurts didn't really care. For him, it's football. He knows he's got a bounty on his head every time he goes out on the field. So while he keeps that in mind, he just plays his game. As per him, whatever happens, happens. There's a lot more left to happen though, such as what's going to happen to Jalen's future. Hurts would win any poll in Philadelphia to find the most popular athlete right now since it's football season, and the Eagles are just 1 win away from their 2nd Super Bowl win in franchise history, thanks to their 3rd-year quarterback. Can't be a coincidence that they're about to win the Super Bowl right as Jalen starts to peak. It turns out that the Eagles were built around a quarterback who was still on his small rookie contract. There was a time when Hurts did so well in the season that the Eagles thought he was worth more as a trade chip than as a quarterback. They should be thanking their brains for not going through with that silly decision a year ago. He is a finalist for AP NFL MVP and Offensive Player of the Year, and his 33 total touchdowns tied a franchise record. And Hurts is only 24 years old. He has a Super Bowl and a lot of money ahead of him. He's due for a new contract that will pay him around $50 million a year. It could be as big as Patrick Mahomes' huge 10-year deal, which has made Kansas City's salary cap hard to manage. Even with Mahomes' high salary, the Chiefs have come up with creative ways to stay at the top of the league. The Eagles must do the same thing. It's tough to manage both sides, to satisfy your star player, but also look out for the whole team. And that's that. Do you think that Jalen Hurts will be the face of the NFL soon enough? We'll see you in the next one.